Hello, Whovians, it's Lopez with the new Who review, and tonight we face the horror of red tape and bureaucracy with the Sunmakers. You don't work, buddy. The TARDIS lands on Pluto, far into the future, with 6 suns, an atmosphere you can breathe, and a huge corporation which keeps the human workers complacent with a calming gas in the air conditioning system. It pays them next to nothing and taxes them to death, for real. Indeed. The taxman is called the Gatherer, a sycophantic yes-man to the all-powerful Collector, a being known as a Usurian, concerned only with the profits and the bottom line. Spoilers. The Doctor, Leela, and K9 teamed up with a small band of human rebels, and they must overthrow the unjust corporation, and we must hold out hope that a 2% solution will be enough to defeat the Sunmakers. This 4-part story first aired from November 26th to December 17th in 1977 and was written by Robert Holmes and directed by Pennant Roberts, and it's a great story all around. It's a very satirical look at bureaucracy, corporate greed, taxes. There's an all-powerful company that acts as government and God. Yeah. Brazil, 1984, these come to mind with the bleak outlook and the eerie euphemisms like punishment is doled out in a correction center, and a school is a preparation center. In Brave New World, the people are kept complacent with the drug soma, and in this story, PCM gas is used in the air conditioning systems to keep the workers dull and scared. The Doctor shines in this story. He pulls a really cool video trick where he sets up a loop of himself walking down a corridor to trick the Gatherer, like Speed, where they tricked Dennis Hopper on the bus cam. And when he fixes the cameras, the Doctor sports some really cool little blacked out specs when he uses the sonic screwdriver. And he also pulls a Jedi mind trick where he puts a guard to sleep. Yeah. And it works on Leela as well, but only until the Doctor shakes her. This story doesn't have a big shaggy monster, but it is about some monstrous stuff. The through line is that the Earth has been used up. Yes, exactly. Humans have moved off and drained other planets, ending up on Pluto at the mercy of an alien corporation that imposes impossible taxes, creating economic slaves. The sets were great miniature work. The interiors were cool. Several sets had these patterns on the walls that looked like circuit boards, and there were long corridors wide enough for golf carts, like the movie THX 1138 by George Lucas. And in researching for this story, I found that the labels on the corridors were actually UK tax forms. P45 and P60 were the examples given. That was a clever touch, I thought. The costumes were neat, basic, but little touches here and there made them very cool. There were emblems on most of them, and on the walls as well of suns. The actors were terrific. Cordo, played by Roy McCready, went from a luckless failed suicide to Rambo in 2 episodes. The Gatherer Haid, was played by Richard Leach, and he was really funny. Every time he addressed the Collector, he had a different greeting for him. Your magnificence, your sagacity, your enormity. Yes, he does. Mandrill and all of the rebels were great. Mandrill was played by William Simons. He had a nice little moment there where he went from like this tough guy to coward, back to tough guy again. The Collector, played by Henry Wolfe, practically stole every scene he was in. His squinty eyes and his Urkel voice and his overt dismissal of his lessers, his unwavering focus on profit would have made a Ferengi blush. First, they moved the humans from Earth to Mars, and then when Mars was depleted, the company moved the humans to Pluto. Soon, the Doctor learns, Pluto will be used up, but the company won't be moving the humans beyond that. The plan is simply to abandon the humans and move on to more profitable systems. So, the humans are doomed. The Collector's database is aware of Gallifrey, and the Doctor is known as having a long history of violence and economic subversion. It also deciphers Leela's warrior slang and figures out where she comes from. Leela almost gets steamed to death by the Collector, and it was creepy how he had the steaming chamber wired for sound so he could hear the screams of his victims. This is the moment when I get a real feeling of job satisfaction. Freaking hilarious. Also, I didn't get this for a little bit until it kind of clicked there. The Collector is a Usurian. The word usury is defined as lending money out at a ridiculous rate of interest. It's a device used in a lot of movies where an aspect or a physical feature is changed into the name of the species. Yeah. Good example, yeah. Oh God, Leela, Louise Jameson just gets better every story. She's really great in this, and she's such a good actor. And speaking of good actors, we get to see a lot of K9 in action. The No Small Part award goes to David Rowlands, who played Bisham, a scientist who's being punished for his curiosity. He's strapped to a gurney next to the doctor in the correction center. You're right. That's two stories in a row where the doctor's strapped to a gurney. Well, there they are, two helpless men strapped to gurneys facing a horrible, painful punishment, and they just start having a calm conversation, no fear. It's the PCM gas that has Bisham so calm. Very funny, but I couldn't help but think of the scene in The Life of Brian where they're hanging on the crosses, just gabbing like it's a normal day. It was so funny. The doctor's Time Lord brain is so powerful, he breaks the punishment machine. In the end, the doctor hacks into the collector's mainframe and programs in a 2% growth tax. Kind of like Rick Sanchez crippling the Galactic Federation by changing a 1 to a 0. Oh, don't start. Anyway, the stress of his losses causes the collector to show his true Usurian form, listed in Professor Thripstead's Flora and Fauna of the Universe as a poisonous fungus which shrinks down into his wheelchair. It was not a toilet, it was a wheelchair. There was a hole in the bottom of it. They plugged it. Good point. It's up for debate. The doctor tells the humans it may be time to return to Earth and be a little wiser in conservation. Yeah. And he, K9, and Leela get in the TARDIS where the doctor and K9 resume their game of chess, but not before the doctor makes the TARDIS lurch so violently the chessboard is scattered. He then offers to finish the game with a sly grin as K9 lowers his head with a weary groan. Time Lords do not like to lose. And I'm afraid this is where you lose me, but not for long. I'll see you in time.